You ever feel like you're standing in the middle of the world, and yet completely alone? Not just alone awake, like your eyes were forcefully opened while everyone else stayed comfortably blind. You sit in rooms full of noise, but you hear nothing that's real. Laughter, that means nothing. Words soaked in lies. Faces masked so tight, they forget who they are beneath it all. And you sit there in silence, not because you're weak, but because you've already seen too much. You watch them play pretend. You watch them trade truth for comfort. You watch them betray each other with a smile, and you say nothing. Because you've learned something they haven't. Words are cheap. Real power doesn't beg to be seen. It waits. It watches. And when it moves, it's already too late. Let me tell you something the world refuses to admit. No one's coming to thank you for surviving. There's no applause for holding yourself together while they broke you piece by piece. You think anyone notices the war behind your quiet smile? They don't. And truth is, they hope you fall. They want you broken, lost, angry, because that's easier to control. But you're not like them, are you? You're the one who bled in silence, who carried pain like armor and smiled through storms. You didn't scream. You didn't lash out. You held it in. Because some monsters don't need to roar to be feared. That silence they mistook for weakness, it was a warning. Hope, that's for the ones who still believe the world plays fair. You're past that. You've walked through fire. You don't need hope. You need clarity. Because here's the truth. They don't care about your pain. They just want your silence so they can keep pretending they never caused it. Look around everyone screaming online, bleeding for validation. But real strength, it doesn't post. It prepares. You think predators announce their presence? Number. They move like shadows. Silent. Precise. Ruthless. And you forgot who you are. You're not broken. You're just building. You're wondering why they lie to your face, then laugh behind your back. Why they leave when you need them, then return when they're empty again. It's because you let them. You fed snakes and cried when they bit you. You offered loyalty to cowards and begged for love from ghosts. You showed your soul to people who never earned your silence, let alone your truth. But now you're done playing nice. Because kindness without boundaries isn't virtue, it's self-destruction. You think staying quiet makes you invisible? No. It makes you lethal. They forgot you exist because you stopped reacting. But silence is not surrender. It's strategy. You are the storm that doesn't announce itself. The flame that burns without smoke. The blade hidden beneath calm hands. You don't speak to be understood anymore. You observe to be underestimated. Because when you move, there are no warnings, no negotiations, only aftermaths. You ever seen a man snap without saying a word? No scream, no rage, just decision. That's the kind of power they'll never understand. Because the ones who talk the most, they're terrified of silence. They're hollow. They know if the noise stops, the truth will echo. But you are the echo, the mirror, the reckoning. Every fake smile, every lie, every betrayal, you cataloged it. You filed it in silence. You didn't forget. You memorized. Now let me be clear. Emotion is a blade. You don't hand it to people who never earned your trust. You sharpen it for when the time comes. You loved too loud. You cared too quick. You forgave too easy. But not anymore. This version of you, the one who watched, who endured, who learned, that's the version they won't survive. You walk through life like a loaded weapon now. No trigger pulled, just presence. And that's enough to shake the room. You want to know what power really is? It's silence that demands respect. Distance that speaks louder than any speech. Ghosting without guilt. Cutting ties without a sound. You don't need revenge soaked in rage. You need transformation rooted in indifference. Because the loudest revenge is becoming someone they can never touch again. Let them choke on the silence you left behind. Let them drown in the peace they shattered. Let them regret the day they mistook your quiet for defeat. You don't owe them closure. You don't owe them words. What you do owe is yourself. That version of you, the one who sat in the dark and asked, "Why me?" That version needs you now. Not to be soft, not to be kind, to rise. You were forged in pain, polished in betrayal, sharpened by solitude. You don't fix people anymore. You bury their echoes in your silence. You don't cry for closure. You close the damn door and lock it from the inside. And from now on, you don't beg to be seen. You vanish. You watch. And when the time comes, you strike. No emotion, no explanation, just consequences. You are not here to entertain. You are not here to be understood. You are the shadow they fear, the fire they smell but can't see. Let them whisper. Let them mock. Let them think they've won. You're not here for validation. You're here for vengeance. And the cruelest kind is the one wrapped in silence. The one that doesn't scream, just destroys. Quietly, completely, unforgivably. Welcome back. The world forgot who you were. Now remind them, without saying a word. Get to burn the bridge and then cry about the distance. This version of you, the quiet one, the composed one, the unshakable one, didn't happen by accident. He was forged. Forged in betrayal, sharpened by rejection, tempered by isolation. Every silence you swallowed, every night you sat there holding your own pieces together. It wasn't just survival, it was transformation. They thought you were breaking, but what they didn't know was you were breaking free. So no, you don't need to text back. No, you don't need to meet up and talk things out. They had their moment. They wasted it. They gambled with your loyalty, thinking you'd always be there. But here's the truth. Nobody tells you. Loyalty has an expiration date. And yours? It just ran out. Now you don't scream your boundaries. You enforce them. You don't chase closure. You embody it. You don't explain your silence, it explains you. You see, silence. It's the final stage of pain. It's what happens when you're done negotiating with disrespect. It's what happens when you stop giving CPR to dead connections. And it's what makes your comeback so terrifying. Because they never saw it coming. They thought silence meant surrender. But this silence, it's the roar before the strike. It's the pause before the thunder. They'll say you changed. And you did. You stopped bleeding for people who wouldn't even hand you a Band-Aid. You stopped watering gardens where nothing bloomed. You stopped begging to be understood and started understanding yourself. And now you're not even angry. You're focused. You're detached. You're moving not for revenge, but for rebirth. Because the truth is, success hits different when it's silent. No posts, no stories, no updates. Just disappear and rebuild. One brick, one scar, one breath at a time. They'll keep talking. Let them. They'll keep watching. Let them. Just don't go back. Don't shrink to fit their comfort zone. Don't let the echo of your past drown out the volume of your future. Because the real flex is peace, control, discipline, and silence that shakes foundations. Now ask yourself, are you still waiting to be chosen? Or have you finally chosen yourself? Because this version of you, the one who walks alone with his head high, who says nothing but means everything, who disappeared into silence and came back, a storm. That version, he's unstoppable. You built in silence. You healed in darkness. You healed in darkness. You rose in solitude. Now let your absence echo through the spaces they thought you'd always occupy. And when they finally realize what they lost, don't flinch, don't look back. Just keep walking. Let the silence be your legacy. Let your silence speak louder than their noise ever could.